then. So first video review for this week is for Perspective by Monica Mccallan. If you want to check out my Goodreads review, I did just post that the other day, so if you are on my blog or on Facebook, there is a link within the post, and if you're on YouTube, there is a link in the description below. And this is the video review. So Perspective by Monica Mccallan. This had so much angst. It was like a really great romance because of all that angst. And it's basically a story where Campbell, she kind of finds herself swept up in the Hollywood processes of her debut novel being transformed into a film for the silver screen. So when she finds out that global sensation actress Sloane Murphy is cast for the main character, she's over the moon. But it's a bit of a reunion for them because she is facing her past as well in this happening. So great, she's got the biggest actress, but it's someone that she already has a connection to. So they went to college together, and Campbell and Sloane, they're kind of given the opportunity to reconnect, which for Campbell's quite a serious moment, and for Sloane is a moment of realization. And they have this opportunity to reconnect, but they both remember those college days very differently. Working together, it kind of pushes them to take a perspective on their current situation, their feelings and what they want from life, but also on what happened in the past. So it's really quite deep in including those past events with future events. And so it was just fantastic. It was really packed with angst and drama. Campbell and Sloane's story is one that gave really great insight into how people perceive things differently. They both experience the same thing, but have very different perceptions of how it occurred, why it occurred, reasons, everything. And I loved how they interacted, especially in those early days when Sloane hadn't quite realised who Campbell was yet. And their dynamic just sort of changed throughout the course of the story. So as we slowly got to know them, and they got to know each other again and understand one another a little bit better and work together, they were learning more about each other than they had back in college. And it was quite an emotional roller coaster really with the pair of them, because there was lots of uncertainty, and because there's both their points of view as well in the book, it was quite the opportunity to get to know them intimately, but also get to see how they had perceived the past as well at the same time. So you were getting a really good look inside both their heads, into their thoughts, their feelings, and how they were judging the situation now. And so the whole story, it was exciting, though the reasons behind the story made it quite a unique twist, and I hadn't anticipated this from the story at all, so it was a really nice surprise. And it was an interesting romance. There was lots to enjoy in it, but there was also lots of moments that left you wanting to know so much more than you got, and the characters alluded to a lot but didn't always spit it out straight away, and you were like, oh my god, I want to know more. So it was that balance between the reality and the imaginary with their story, because there's the reality of actually what happened, and then there's like the imaginary ways they'd perceived it, both of them, and how that had then caused the conflict and the changes in them, and how they treated one another, how they treated other people, how they reflected on the situation, everything. And their story also crossed over because it was important to Campbell's book being turned into a film as well. So there was lots of elements here all leading in and threading the plot together to make a really deep story, with lots for you as the reader to get your own perspective of it, because you were also building this own image in your head. When you were reading Sloane's thoughts, when you were reading Campbell's thoughts, you were getting your own image in your head, and you were putting your own perspective on it as well. So it was really interesting, it was really clever, and I loved how it just really made them sit up and take note of the situation, realising that they kind of have to communicate with each other honestly, especially if they were ever going to overcome everything that potentially stood in their way, and they wanted to be happy, so they needed to overcome all that. And I just think it was a really great story, and I really hope we see more from Campbell and Sloane in future, because this really was just like a tip of an iceberg for a story for them, because it's them reconnecting. So I really would like to see them again in the future. But yeah, it was a really interesting story, and like I say, because even the title alludes to you having to do some of your how you're also going to view the situation. Really, really clever. So I really, really enjoyed it, and I really, really recommend it. I think it's a really good story. If you want to grab a copy, I'll pop a link in the description so that you can. If you've read Perspective by Monica Mccallan, it'd be great to hear your thoughts. What did you think of the story? Comment below, get involved in the discussion. If you haven't read Perspective by Monica Mccallan yet, again, it would be great to hear from you. So comment below, let us know that you're interested in reading it, or it's on your to be read list, or you're going to buy a copy, and that'd be really great. And if you do read it, I really, really hope you enjoy it. Bye.